Hi, it's me, Ingrid the INFP, and I wanted to talk about how MBTI, the limits of MBTI and how we can define our growth. I subscribe to the MBTI theory that we use our four top functions. Some people subscribe to the one that we use our 8 functions. It's just that our last 4 are subconscious, but that is a bit complicated for me, and I like to keep it simple. At the same time, MBTI doesn't really give a guide to how to grow as a person. There are different theories out there, and some of them are that we should strive to integrate the inferior function, the 4th function, and but that doesn't really make sense because your inferior function is by definition going to always be lower in your stack, and you use it when you're in the grip so that you don't use it well. So I don't know exactly how much you can develop your 4th function. Some people say that it's lower in the stack because it's weaker. Some say it's more unconscious. Some say it's our preference. I don't really know. But we aren't that good at it. And I don't know if the goal for an INFP is to become an ESTJ. That's kind of a sad thought, because that means that all of what makes us unique and strong is not valued by society, and we end up becoming what society is comprised of. So I don't know, maybe that is what MBTI prescribes. I don't know. So that's one theory. The other theory is that you should develop your top functions, and I don't know, forget about using the lower functions, because that would mean that would not be of any use. That's a theory that NF Geeks had all those years back on this channel. Is that, you can't really develop your inferior function, you have to deal with it when it pops up, but there's no use in developing it. Unfortunately, the problem with that path is that you end up like NF Geeks. He was an ENFP and kind of rejected the traditional paths. He studied psychology, then he realized that was too SIT oriented. So he went on, he became a professor, he was teaching philosophy, and he never really got into what I know of. I don't know, maybe in 10 years things have changed. But it seems like he's not really happy in terms of his relationships and in terms of his career. And that's kind of depressing to think about. So following the top function path is maybe not what's realistic and what's growth. So an INFP that just focuses on FI and NE, I don't know if it's possible to live in that kind of world. Maybe SJs can do that if they rely on but you kind of remain a one-dimensional person by doing that. So, the tertiary and the inferior function are important. Another theory is that you have to develop your secondary function, your auxiliary function. And so for INFPs, that would be NE. in order to break out of our loop, FISI loop, and we would get out with any and be more proactive that way and stuff. It's just, well, that is the theory that I'm closest to at the moment. But I don't think that the goal of an INFP is to become an ENFP. Basically, if we, or even close to an ENFP, because I mean, ENFPs have their own struggles and their own strengths, and we'll never get to the same NE level as an ENFP. And do we even want to go there? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that would help us survive and grow in the world up to a certain point. You don't want your NE to be completely dead, you know, because then you're like an FISI looping, not leaving the house kind of thing. But and using NE is a very positive experience. But you can't start just doing all of the NE things and neglecting your FI and neglecting SI and TE. So you need to integrate all of the 4 functions and somehow find a way to yourself grow. And the way you want to grow maybe is different than other people want to grow. Other people want you to grow maybe into an ESTJ or something like that. Someone else might want you to grow into an ENFP. Some person will want you to become a completely different person and to be an what should we say, ISTP, something completely different than what we are. And they're valid points, but you have to decide yourself how to grow. And MBTI doesn't give any answers on that topic. Enneagram gives paths of self-realization, like it tells you which type you should emulate, like which type you should look more like if you're a healthy type. I'm not sure exactly which ones are which, but I know that 6 integrates into 9. So an Enneagram 6 that is always so anxious all the time, well, if they are strong, they gain confidence and stuff, and then in the end, they feel safe on their own and they can be the breeze on the ocean, like, and on 9, which is pretty like a placid kind of type, they get to, the 6s can, by overcoming all their anxiety and the desire for safety, attain a state of bliss such as would look like an Enneagram 9. So Enneagram gives a path to grow, but MBTI doesn't, at least the classic theory doesn't. And that is kind of hard to swallow. So some people will come up with their way to integrate type and to develop and grow as a person. But maybe that way doesn't help everybody, and it might not, there might not be a single answer to this. So that's what I have to say about type development and MBTI. I don't subscribe to the 8 function model, but I see people who do, I see a lot of videos about polar SE and stuff, and I do agree to them. It's just I'm not sure it's something that we can work on. And that's kind of, well, I wouldn't say useless, but it's kind of, discouraging to know that, to know your weaknesses without being able to change them. So you have to come up with your own way to change and grow. And maybe growth is not really an objective thing. I know some types are really into self-growth and stuff. INFPs are too, but I think to like in another degree. And growth is very personal and individual to us. So I think that INFPs might maybe rebel against using a system to achieve self-growth. I think that we want it to come a little bit more organically. Since we are self-aware people, so we know what we're good at and where we're not, and we try to strive to be better people. But maybe the systems are not really for us. So tell me what you think. If you have a theory that you know of within MBTI or within any other personality system that talks about growth for types and INFPs. If you have any other tips yourself on how to grow as an INFP. And if you subscribe to any of the other models, like, tell me about it. I'm open to any suggestions. I'm not completely closed to all these theories. It's just sometimes they're a little bit complicated and I don't find them very useful. But I do look at them and try to understand them. And tell me if you have any other things about all MBTI, INFP things. Click like and subscribe. Bye.